The laughter hit her like shrapnel, sharp, careless, and far too loud for a place wearing the name Veterans Welcome Center. She stood there in the corner of the hall, her posture stiff, hands folded over a faded green jacket 3 sizes too large. It hung awkwardly on her shoulders, sleeves rolled twice at the cuffs. A patch near the collar had faded into a whisper of a name. Someone pointed, then snickered. Army surplus cosplay? Who let her in here? No one stopped them, no one even looked her way. Except to mock. She didn't move. She didn't explain. She just stood there, eyes scanning the war memorial wall. Across the room, her expression unreadable. Her silence, impossible to ignore for long. Her name was Ellie Hart. She had once been Sergeant Eleanor Hart, 1st Battalion Combat Medic, Operation Iron Dagger. But in this hall, surrounded by polished boots and loud pride, her medals remained tucked in a shoebox under her bed. The jacket was not hers, that it was her brother's, that he never made it back. Ellie had worn that oversized jacket every year since the explosion that ripped through their convoy outside Phnom Penh. She'd held pressure to his wounds for 17 minutes, until the medevac came too late. The last thing he said was, "Don't take it off. Tell them I didn't run." So she wore it. And today, they laughed. She felt the air shift before she saw him. A hush, like the moment before a flag is folded. Boots, shined like mirrors, stopped just behind her. The room stilled. And then, a single voice. Low, commanding, disbelieving. "Where did you get that jacket?" She turned. Slowly, a tall man stood there in full uniform, chest crowded with stars. General Marcus Raines. The kind of man who had cities named after him. The kind of man whose eyes never blinked. Now they did, twice. Then widened. He stepped forward, carefully, as though the fabric of that jacket might dissolve if he got too close. "That patch," he murmured, pointing. "That's my old unit. That jacket belonged to Corporal James Hart." Ellie nodded. "My brother." There was a silence that made the walls lean in to listen. The general didn't speak right away. He looked at her face, then the jacket, then back again. His voice cracked, just slightly. "He pulled my body from the wreckage. Saved my life." The room shifted. The laughter, already dead, was now buried. "You're his sister?" the general asked. "I was his medic," she said, voice steady. Another silence. Then the general turned, looked at every face in that room. His voice rose, not loud, but final. "You all owe your comfort to people like her. While you were mocking her jacket, you mocked the blood that gave you the right to wear yours." No one laughed now. One breathed too loudly. One by one, hats came off. Backs straightened. Shame moved like smoke through the air, curling around. Boots and buttons, and suddenly quiet pride. The general reached into his coat and pulled something out. A silver pin. His personal commendation, that he clipped it to the collar of her brother's jacket. "Corporal Hart gave me my life. It's about time someone honored the one who tried to give it back." Ellie didn't cry. She just stood there, still, silent, stronger than any sound in the room. 2 young recruits moved aside, cleared a path, and as she walked past them, shoulders square beneath the too big jacket, they stood at attention. No orders were given. None were needed. Because respect, when earned by silence, becomes a thunder you never forget. Quotable lines. While you were mocking her jacket, you mocked the blood that gave you the right to wear yours. Respect, when earned by silence, becomes a thunder you never forget. She just stood there, still, silent, stronger than any sound in the room. Outro and reflection. Sometimes the loudest voices in the room are not the most powerful. Sometimes it's the quiet ones, the ones wearing faded jackets and carrying invisible weight, who change everything. If this story moved you, tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Honor someone silent in your life. And subscribe for more real stories that uncover the strength we too often overlook. Because silent heroes don't ask to be seen. They just keep standing until the world finally looks.